Alright, so I'm here at Kennywood, about to pay for parking. Just says a notification, Kennywood's parking only takes cash, so make sure you have cash on hand and don't have to run down to the local speedway like I did. So, right over there. Alright, so from what I remember, this park has the most sensitive metal detectors I've seen. Skyrocket. A much better ride than people give it credit for, at least from what I remember after my last ride. Phantom's Revenge. This is another title defense visit. Another coaster I haven't ridden in a while that I still consider to be in my top 10. I'm sure this one will remain in my top 10 after I ride it. Phantom's Revenge is a walk-on so far. Only running one train, but that's okay if the line's this short. Got off Phantom's Revenge, so... Yep, just as I expected, that ride absolutely holds up. The airtime in the second half is strong. See, so the first half, despite having the larger drops, is a little bit weak compared to the second half. But once that second half gets going, that is some of the strongest airtime you will encounter. I'm gonna go again. So I will say, the surrounding terrain is actually quite beautiful as long as you ignore the steel plant right there. There we go.
We're following you now. This is all you.
You must have a partner. It looks like high school me is never getting on this ride. Actually, I need to find someone so I can get on this ride. Luckily, I was able to find someone to ride with. Thunderbolt's still a pretty good ride. Probably not going to make anyone's top 10, but it's very enjoyable. I am not going to pretend to be a Steelers fan just because of this ride. Alright, so the line's moving pretty slow due to one train operations. I'm not really complaining. I grew up with Discovery Kingdom as my home park. And like 10 years ago plus, they were really bad at running multiple trains, so I'm kind of used to this.
You are, Billy, and it's a good idea to secure those hats, glasses, cell phones, and keys inside of them. Either way, let's keep it on.
So my take on Steel Curtain, it's pretty good. It's not super forceful, but I don't feel like forces are the main point of the ride. It's really meant to be a ride with a lot of big inversions, a lot of hang time, and I do think it succeeds at that. Yeah, the one train operation kind of sucks. and it's not the most reliable ride in the world, but it's good. It's good. Racer. This one's an old classic. Typically this ride has the slowest load times in the park by far. Now it is helped that they send out 2 trains per dispatch. But usually they only run 2 trains on it on a ride with 2 tracks. I know it's a Mobius technically, but you get the point. Gotta say, this is a beautiful looking station. Probably one of my favorites. I wonder if they're still doing the hand slapping on this ride. That used to be one of the most fun parts of riding Racer, where you could reach out, slap the hands at the other rider. Kind of wonder if people are more sensitive these days due to COVID. I can say the Racer's still fun, nothing spectacular. The only particularly strong moment of airtime I got was the last drop, and I sat in the back row. But you know, you still have the racing element. That's always a good time, and it's an old vintage ride. Jackrabbit's also pretty tame, except for the double down. Now, this is probably one of the most famous elements on the ride because it was one of the first to actually have upstop wheels. And I wish they made the rest of the ride as good as that double down, so I'm hoping I get toward the back of the train so I can experience it as full. Although this ride is actually running 2 trains. Kind of weird that the only coasters running 2 trains are Racer and Jackrabbit, but I'll take what I can get. So after riding, the double down was not as crazy as I remember it being. Again, kind of like the other vintage rides at Kennywood. It's a fun coaster, nothing too amazing, but it's great that they have a vintage historical ride that people can still enjoy today.
Oncoming riders, please wait for the gates to open before you attempt to board the train.
Skyrocket is a much better ride than most people give it credit for. Okay, the ending is lame, I'll admit that. The top hat is good, the inversions are good, the mid-course brake drops, pretty nice too. Exterminator. This is actually a new credit for me. I didn't get around to this one last time. So, I mean, it's a spinning mouse in the dark. I think I know exactly what I'm gonna get. So this Exterminator has a cool queue. Even if it's just a couple switchbacks in what's made to look like a sewer. Exterminator was actually more fun than I was expecting. So I've pretty much done all the coasters here, so not much left to do other than ride Phantom a couple more times.
Brace yourself, far in front. Enjoy your splash.
I have to give a shout out to the Phantom's Revenge crew. They've been pumping trains out rapidly, even though there's no line. Really appreciate that. From Stretton in the Baltic to Trieste in the Adriatic, A steel curtain has descended upon Kennywood. I'm pretty sure that's what Churchill said. Probably make this my last ride on Phantom. Successful day, but I'd love to explore Pittsburgh as well. In Pittsburgh right now. Yep. Heard this city was beautiful. Definitely lived up to the hype.